social media accounts. Yeah, we actually need. The next speaker we have is Sunita Vardhan. Yeah, Sunita, can we have you here? All right, that's a warm welcome for her, and it's on to you now.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Arvind Arora and Professor Debashish Chatterjee for this opportunity here, for giving us this platform to share our learnings. So I am Sunita Vardhan. I run a firm called Cinnamon Circles Productions. We are into visual media. We make corporate films. And I'm also a photojournalist. And I started my career with AC Nielsen in New York in media research, and I moved to visual media 7 years back. So the jump from being an employee to entrepreneur was like something I just got lost in between, basically because I had been abroad for so many years, and then I moved back to India, and there was no support, in the sense support network. I did not have all my contacts here in the country. I kind of got lost. So I had to build everything from scratch. So I'm just going to share my journey, my challenges, and how I overcame it and the result. So one of the basic, most, crucial challenge, one of the most difficult one which I faced was my personality, and I was an introvert. So being an introvert and an entrepreneur, no, not a good combination at all. So this is something which I wanted to overcome, and how do I do it? And the first thing I did was I was active in social media, but not too much. So I started looking for small groups, probably just 5 to 8 business entrepreneurs who would want to meet for a coffee, just share on a very comfort zone, talking to people. And then I slowly moved on to, after doing that for 2-3 months, I started moving in to find a much larger group. Probably I would say just 8 to 15 people. And then I moved to 15 to finding networking events, which are not more than 20, so that I'm comfortable with. And something which I always followed during my initial, those struggles was this mantra: practice where it doesn't matter. So I just didn't care what was the result, because I just was trying to get out of my comfort zone, trying to change my personality, so that as an entrepreneur I had visions. But for example, as entrepreneurs, I'm sure we all acknowledge the fact that we have to wear different hats. I mean, it's not something I'm good in HR, I'm good in marketing, or I'm good in finance. It doesn't happen that way. There are, situations where you have to kind of jump in and cover up. But these are areas where you can actually outsource it to other people, HR, finance, but networking, no. It has to be done only by us, basically because we know what are the connections we are looking for, and we make meaningful connections. So that is something which cannot be outsourced to anybody, and we have to do it ourselves. And in order to do that, I had to break my barriers. So that is when I realized that this has to be worked on. So this is where I started. And as one of my previous speakers said, 3-4 years back, I joined BNI. I'm not a member anymore, but that helped me a lot, because my chapter had around 75 entrepreneurs, and we used to have 15 visitors every week. So it was 90 entrepreneurs every week, So it was a lot of networking going on, and I learned a lot. And what in these networking events, what I really realized was that certain things I learned, which I would like to share, is one of the previous speakers, Rinku, also mentioned about note who's going to attend the meeting. Go through the brochure. If you have somebody you feel you could connect with, meet these people first, and then move on to the rest. Second thing is active listening. I myself felt after a few rounds that I used to kind of drift away while having conversations with people. And I started wondering, why is this happening? So then I realized, okay, the conversations are not interesting. Either there are two people in the conversation or more than that, right? But then what happens is like one person talking a lot about themselves and other person listening for 4-5 minutes, they lose interest. So there has to be active conversations. So keep asking questions and also push the other person to ask questions about ourselves, what we do. So in that way, you have a very engaging conversation. And this also made me to realize to be in the present, here and now, and not, kind of drift away. And also, when we go for a networking meeting, I'm sure we all, realize that there are going to be people from different walks of life, different backgrounds. So understanding and accepting, if there's going to be a group discussion on a particular topic, we have to realize that like there are going to be opinions from different people which may not align with our beliefs. But it is something, which we have to understand and accept. And the other one is to show genuine interest, which is, I would say, the foremost and the topmost thing which I have been doing when I connect with people, to really, hear their part of the story, from my heart. To know their business journey of, their struggles and challenges and how they have overcome their situations in life. So as a result, from being an introvert, now I am an ambivert. I'm not an extrovert, I'm an ambivert. I have the switch on and off. So when I want it, I switch it on. So that is something which has helped me. And I have built an amazing support network. That's the entire, the goal of networking, I would say, is not monetary benefits. It's about looking for people, like-minded people, and building your own support team and people who actually we can tap on when we face challenges in our business. So apart from that, what has helped me is to get out of my comfort zone. I come from a very conservative family, and meeting so many people and getting inputs, thoughts, different perspectives has changed me a lot. So getting out of the comfort zone, not only in business, but also this has helped me in my personal life too. So I have started doing a lot of solo backpackings in the last few years. I have visited 23 countries till now. And also about, recently I started learning how to bike. I'm talking about gear bikes. So these are things which I have started exploring, and I give full credit to networking, to get out of my comfort zone and explore what's out there. And I highly recommend all entrepreneurs to be part of associations and as a member. For example, I'm a member of Association of Designers of India, and I'm also a member of Internations, a social networking international community. And I also attend events of NASSCOM. NASSCOM is no way connected with what I do, but I still believe it's very interesting to connect with people across, other platforms. And when this is about online networking, but offline networking, I would say, is equally important. I have been very active in Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram, I have around 20,000 followers. And I have been very active in LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I just started probably being active this March. And there are I started getting into the in the app to find out people, people who are kind of connected to my area of work. And from March to May, I would say just in 3 months, through LinkedIn, I have built 8.5 lakhs. So I'm just saying it very openly, the numbers, because it's like business is absolutely amazing when you really connect with, the people you actually need to collaborate. And I work from a small co-working space, and currently through LinkedIn, with those contacts, I am in talk with India's largest media conglomerate for employer branding. So I'm just saying this because offline networking is equally important, and it's absolutely amazing. Many people don't tap. The numbers I would share is 3.484 billion users of social media, and this number is increasing 9% every year. So this is my journey and how I have faced my challenges, and I've tried to turn around my barriers into something more meaningful, in the growth of both my professional as well as personal life. And I would like to leave you with just one quote which it's very close to my heart. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. So this is something which I've always followed, and I think it doesn't need any explanation. It's just self-explanatory. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you in person. Thank you so much. Keep inspiring.
Thank you, Sunita. Definitely, it's a journey where you refine yourself day by day. And here, I come to a stage where, we are going to recognize and affirm the beautiful attainments of our soul sisters. And for this, I request Dr. Harbeen to be here. And of course, I call upon Uttara Ramakrishnan to have the recognition. And I also call upon Rinku ji to be here, who would help us give away the award along with Dr. Harbeen. Uttara. Venturing into a domain where normally male dominance is there is not that easy, Uttara. And I believe that you are doing wonderful work. Keep it up. And Uttara is receiving the award from Dr. Harbeen, and Rinku is joining in affirming this. I request you to stay here on stage. And here I welcome Mahua Mukherjee to receive the award. And I also call upon Sunita and Shweta to join in giving away the award. And then we would be having the click of the session, award session. And Beena is helping us in getting these awards to be accorded. So it's a goodwill gesture, when the Soul Sisters are receiving the award, the co-panelists are there to give this accolade. Yeah. I don't know why Uttara and Rinku are standing away. You can be together. We believe in inclusivity. Thank you so much. Yeah, one click there, one click there. This young girl is requesting. All smiles. Thank you. Congratulations to the winners. Well, continuing with the sessions. It's such a great flow which is going on and on and on. And I was just wondering where the lunch breaks are. I was just looking at these papers. Are we going to be fed? Are we going to be given some tea or some snacks? Yeah, we have time. We have time. And we have time for everything. And of course, some water is outside. Some, washroom facilities are also around. You may explore more, because the campus is so beautiful that you don't mind exploring things for yourself. Yeah. So here we go for the next session, which is on social entrepreneur, defining the new age leadership, reverse mentoring, learning from our children. I think it's beautiful. This session title is so beautiful. And here I have Sakina Ansari, founder of Malgadi. Where is Sakina? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Sakina. Wow. Sakina, I first when I read about it, I said, Malgudi days. Wow, let me just go. But it is Malgadi. Because, we are so fascinated by the words. And I still remember what, silk and milk was doing to us. The same thing was done to me, Malgadi to Malgudi. Yeah. So, basically, she's a very design person. I love that expression that you are a design person. And the concept store Malgadi is kind of a fashion house. And, a lot of hobbies she has: sketching, reading, spirituality, badminton, movies, and joining hands with the Soul Sisters. So, what an amazing person you are, Sakina. I welcome you to share your story. Yeah, please. Yeah. Okay, so how do you want to do? You all come together and speak about everyone? Then? Oh, it's an interactive session. So, where is Dr. Harbin? Wow. So, how are we going to do about it? You all are going to talk to each other and present yourself. So, would you mind standing here over the stage? Yeah. Would you mind or you will not? Yeah, so please. So, I may welcome Sakina, Beena, Kavita Kumar, and Nilofer Arshad. Is that all? The number of people? Okay, till Leena Parekh you have like Varsha, Shweta, Rajini, Nilofer, Kavita, Beena, and Sakina. Yeah, so I call upon each one of you on the stage. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I see a beautiful jewelry done by you. So beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So may I call upon each one of you here? Beena is a Chennai-based artist and a filmmaker. Wow, I love that. So, because then I start seeing myself as a prospective person to be entering into the movie.
Yes, we're all trying to get something.
Yeah, something like that. And she is into, again, a very male-dominated business, but nonetheless, nothing stops her. I have Kavita. Kavita is an influential coach. And we have Nilofer. She is a trainer and a motivational speaker. So I see the luminaries coming over here, and it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, so I'm also going to read about Varsha and Shweta. Yeah, Susan. Okay, Susan, I don't have those profiles with me, but I'm sure that along with the session you can tell about yourself more, because here we are to learn and explore each other's story, which is inspiring each one of us. And I know that when women talk, they are not talking about a small thing. They are talking about the history which they have created. Their entire life is a history. So please come forward. Yeah, your story. Yeah, his story. So her story. Wow, I love that expression.
About our story.
Yeah, so it's our story, his story, and it is not his story, it is her story.
Yes.
Go ahead. We should not break this.
Yeah.
भैया इसका कुछ करिए. Is it the one to go inside?
So, yeah. Hello everyone. Good morning. It's lovely to be here. And I would like to thank. I can speak here, right? Yeah. I have to thank Soul Sister Harbin for this opportunity. I am and all the people involved. This just happened without any planning. In the sense, yeah, we thought, okay, the minute we saw WEF Kerala, we said we should go and support them. And we've not decided about what we're going to do, what topic we're going to take, or some of them have signed up as speakers. But when we saw this reverse mentoring and learning from our children, everybody jumped, because we're all constantly learning from our children. So we said we should take it up, and then I think I mailed you all, and then I said, yes, you all, I got the green signal, and we said, okay, let's do it. And we were all busy in our own work. None of us planned anything. And train journey, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? I said, just let's try and let it flow. And with your energies, with your blessing, and your beautiful self, we're all here to connect and share whatever we can possible. Okay. We're all mothers, so I'm sure this reverse mentoring will help. The young generation is shaping the future. In today's world, technology is progress, and progress is technology centered. So mentoring is generally defined as a one-on-one relationship where a senior professional will guide or share specialized wisdom with a junior, and the protege will share their tech-savvy hacks to make executives familiar with technology. I'm zero in technology, okay, because I came from, I think, I'm ancient. Whereas I see a lot of youngsters, I'm learning so much, and I've picked up so much from all of them, your social media and things. I'm just trying to do a little bit of Facebook and things like that. When senior leaders get mentored by their juniors, the communication flows easily, and as long as, it requires maturity, of course, from both ends, it makes things comfortable, and there's great progress. So I would like to start with Beena. Beena is an artist. She's a movie producer, an entrepreneur, and I would like to know how you managed to use reverse mentoring in your life. And she is a powerhouse of talent. How did your children shape you and you them? What did you learn from their angle?
On. Good morning. Yeah, it's a big question. Me, I'm a Keralite, 100% Keralite, born and brought up in a small town named Kollam. I was never allowed to go to college or school alone. I was always dropped by my brothers, Biju and Binu. Still, they have an enmity against that because it was a big job for them. From there, at the 19 years, got married to an army man, planned it to a different society. A girl who was not seen, could even walk a kilometer alone, going to a place called Chandi Mandir, straight away from Kollam at the age of 19. Yeah, I was from a very, my father was very strict. As I've already told, I was always dropped at college and schools. It was so difficult to spend my time, little bit of English, very less knowledge about Hindi. I think that is the situation was given me chance to develop myself. I'm basically a painter, an artist. I have spent a lot of time after that painting. Yeah, that moved on. It's a long story. Then when my children were born, Arjun and Akash, when my eldest son was 5th standard, they started computers. And I was zero about computers, then seeing. My husband took a loan of 1 lakh and bought a computers in 1996. And I've decided to learn multimedia. Being an artist, I thought it will help me out. And ended up in learning 2 years of course and started teaching in AppTech and Tata Infotech, and started, teaching was my first initial job. Moved thinking that I should establish something. I had an organization called Srishti, from there to business, and today, after the 20 years, I don't know how many people will agree with me for this fact. I'm one of the only women, or you can say very few women, who import liquor to this country.
She's done so many things. She wears many hats. Yes.
So that is one of my business. Now I'm no more part of the company, but they don't want to leave me. I am actually a consultant for the purchase from European countries that will allow me to travel all over the world. I somehow ended up in another place of production of a movie. It was accidental. Towards my respect towards my mentor, Dr. M.M. Alex, I had or was forced to take up a movie, ended up there. Yeah, I've done so many things, and I'm basically a tantric artist. I paint. All these things have allowed me to grow personally. Now, where does this reverse mentoring start? After doing everything, I always had the fear to explore my inner dreams. I've always worn a half sari to full sari, never worn even a salwar kameez because my mother didn't like it. It was my children who stood, Arjun and Akash. My eldest son has done his BCom LLB and MS in Applied Finance. He's 27 years, 6 feet 2 tall boy. And the younger one just finished his aeronautics, gone for his post-graduation in a master's in management in France. These two boys stood with me to do anything what I want. Supported to the extent of doing anything in the sense I could wear the shortest of the dresses which I wanted. They fought with my parents that she should live her life the way she wants to. They have taken out fears from my life. Today, even I'm speaking here, like I have actually introduced to all, I cannot miss this point, almost 4 years back by an Italian actress, Ilaria Borelli. But I never had an interest. But I told, and my 95% of acquaintance is always men. At that moment, yeah, the Chennai chapter was getting launched. And I was introduced to this beautiful platform, thanks to Harbeen, and to connecting such beautiful souls and giving a platform. I think this will be the third stage which I'm speaking. So I think this platform, along with my strengths of my sons, allowed me to explore myself, do whatever I can, take out all my fears from my mind. They'll just say, Ma, you can, you know. The words one sees, they say that, I feel that's the end of the world. And it explores, it allows you to explore anything that you want. Not professionally, I'm talking personally, you know. To be what you want to be, you know. So I feel two brothers always been a bodyguard, but it's my two sons who has allowed me to reach the happiness which I wanted to always to be. Thank you so much. So it's all my thanks to them. Thank you, Sakina.
Bina, it's a pleasure hearing that from you. Let's keep it coming. Okay, now let's move on to Kavita. Okay, Kavita, you're a lawyer. You need to constantly think smart, and you will need to use all your experience to be relevant and critical in all information. So how did you contribute to your family, and did you learn from your children to be empathetic and emotionally stronger? I'd like to hear that from you.
Yes. Good morning, all of you. And thank you so much, Harbeen. Like, being part of this chapter is really giving a feel-good factor, and it really motivating all of us here. And thanks to everybody, thanks to the team. I'm a lawyer and a corporate trainer. Initially, I was married to a conservative family where I was not allowed to practice. Being a lawyer, not allowing to practice is a thing where you're pulling your strings.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a crime.
Yeah, it's a crime. So I had to go with it because certain family situations where I had to, to compromise on certain things for the sake of the family. So it was then my son and my daughter, both of them actually really motivated me by saying that, see, Mom, you have something called your USP. You are a people person. Why don't you actually go out and try to explore yourself? And that is how I started meeting a lot of people, where I got connected to few NGOs, where I also help the special children and also the aspirants, blind aspirants who are trying for IAS. I give them voiceover, I read books for them, and this slowly got me into connected with a lot of networking, with a lot of people, and I got connected to the Susan. She was really a backup for me, and she really encouraged me. So, I didn't know it was a lot of big transformation. Like, I didn't imagine, I'll just come and use this platform as, it really, sorry? So this is a great platform here where I would tell that my children were a real backup. They made me more emotionally strong, and where I could really share everything, with them, and they motivated me initially, and it was from there the takeoff for me. And they actually told me how to to find a solution for a problem. Find the root cause analysis. Find what is your trigger points. Through that, I just came out of my thing and I started doing corporate training, which is my passion. I meet people. I feel so happy to transform people. And it's a great thanks to my children who really were my backbone. I think this is reverse mentoring.
Nice, so happy.
Thank
to hear
you.
that. That's such a nice thing because we all need our children's support. That's what, at this stage, for me especially, the children are our backbone now. The teaching is done, and for me, it's the learning. The learning has been happening, but now it's reverse mentoring, like I said. So now, Susan, this is.
Hi, good morning. That's not enough. Yeah, that's better. Okay, my name is Susan Jacob. I'm from Kerala, but I've been in Tamil Nadu most of my life, except for a few years in the US. And thanks to Arbin, we've got into this group, and it's been an amazing trip. I met all these lovely ladies in Chennai, and we have a meet and greet session where we meet once a month. We exchange ideas, we have a good lunch together, we play games, and we do role modeling, and we do a lot of stuff. So if any of you come to Chennai, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll give you the time of your life. Okay, hi girls, what do you think?
She's the icebreaker of an event, always does that.
Okay, a little about myself. I actually, as I was growing up, I have a wonderful family to support me in everything I do. As I was growing up, I wanted to be a stewardess. And so my brother used to tell me, okay, you want to be a stewardess? So bring me a glass of water. So I used to take a tray, take a glass of water and give it to him. I was so serious about my job. But finally, I never got down to it because my dad said people from our communities. I come from a Syrian Christian community from Cochin, and they said people from our community, I mean those days. So I never got down to it. Then I did a lot of things. I worked in a hotel, I worked in a bank, and finally I ended up at the American International School. I was there for a decade. I was teaching there, and then I started getting bored because it was a full-time job. And I'm a hardcore Gemini. I don't know how many of you know about the sun signs. Yeah, so we get bored very easily. So I decided enough is enough. I wanted to do something else. So I was thinking what to do. I can't fly. I'm too old to fly. So what else can I do? I said, okay, I love talking. And my mom sometimes, she asked me, your friends came home, but I never heard their voice. I'm only hearing yours. You never give them a chance to talk. So I said, okay, let me be a corporate trainer. That's where I met Kavita. We did corporate training, and now we have a certification in POSH. If all of you know what POSH is, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace. So it's mandatory in all the companies now. If you have more than 10, they've made it mandatory. So we are capitalizing on that now. We are working on some presentations. So once we get back, we have a couple of trainings to do. On top of that, we are planning to do this. Okay, coming back to reverse mentoring. My children, I have one son and a daughter-in-law, and my daughter-in-law is my daughter because she's such a darling. And she says that you're the best mother-in-law in the world. I never thought I would hear anyone say that about me because my son used to grumble, Ma, don't be so strict. Don't tell me put this there, put this down, put this up. But now he also values me. And so I sometimes feel that there's so much you can learn from your children. Because, when I used to grumble or gossip about someone, he used to tell me, Mom, if you don't like that person, just walk away. You don't need to waste your time talking about them. So that's something I learned from him. And I always feel habits should be a stick that we use, not a crutch to lean on. So if you feel that some habit is not really good for you, just cut it off and throw it away. There are so many other habits you can get from other people. So I feel it is always good to, connect with people who are positive energizers so that you get positive energy from them. That's it. So
Come a long way, Susan, from wanting to be a stewardess to doing what you are doing.
yeah, but I have always had a good life. I feel that you should do what you want to do. And I've always had the opportunity to do that. I've traveled all over. I make it a point, work hard, and then travel. So that's my passion. So every year I make it a point to travel to some part of the world. So this year I haven't had time. Next year I'm aiming at Egypt.
Yes.
So the WEF
we're
at
all-
Egypt,
yes,
so we're
there.
all planning to go. So let's make it happen. Thank
We've
you.
been planning the train, yes. So yes, now Nilofer, I would like to ask you, you again, corporate trainer yourself, and coming from an army background, what kind of key changes one needs to make to handle the present generation, and what are the benefits of reverse mentoring in an organizational point of view, like strategy goals, retention of millennials, sharing of technology and things like that? Just update us on that.
Yeah, a very good morning to all of you, and it's my privilege to be here. I have to thank one of the members of the Chennai WEF, Rajshri, who also happens to be my cousin's wife, who introduced me sometime this year to this wonderful organization. And I'd also like to thank Sakina and, of course, Dr. Harbeen, because of which I'm here. So my name is Nilofer Arshid, and I, as Sakina said, come from an army background. From the time that I was a little child, it's been impressed on me that you are an army officer's daughter. You know, my father fought 2 wars, the Chinese aggression and the Pakistani. And my brother also happens to be an army officer. So we always had this invisible leadership, we all had to take up our roles, however difficult. Because there were times when I used to see my father only for about 15 days in a year. You know, he would be in the border area. So it was my mom and my brothers and all of us took up the, mantle of running the house and taking care of things in my father's absence. And we grew up with a sense of confidence. So my mother impressed on me that you can do whatever you want. So from a very early age, let's say 10, I started writing. You know, I used to like to write. And I had published a lot of my articles. There used to be a magazine called Femina. I don't know if it's still around. I don't read it anymore. They used to have a small column called Speak Out, and I wrote my first article, which got published, and it gave me a princely sum of 50 rupees. Those days, went long back. So it grew that way. So I always had it in my mind that I can do whatever I want. And I also believe I have only one life. We do believe in Punarjanam and all that, but then this life, as Nilofer, probably is only one I have. So I did everything that I could do. So when I grew up, when I was in college, I used to do a lot of tree plantation, a lot of social initiatives. Then I was a television announcer. I used to write poetry and read it on the All India radio. Those days you didn't have any FMs and you did not have anything other than Doordarshan. And then there was a position for an Urdu anchor for a program called Anjuman in Hyderabad. And although I didn't know Urdu, I started learning it, and then I went for the auditions, got into it, and I was an announcer there for 7 years. So just an example to tell you that I didn't know, but I believed that I could do what I could do. And I also did my degree in genetics, and I went on to, wanted to do my master's. And at that point of time in India, you did not have a master's in genetics. You could only do a zoology, and you could go abroad probably. So my parents could not send me abroad, and they told me, why don't you do zoology? And I said, no, I'm going to go and work. And at the age of 19, I went and stood in front of Jagdish Hinduja, he was the Weekender group. I mean, he was there on the interview panel. And I was this skinny girl, and I was standing there with many people who were much older and much qualified than me. And I was asking them for a job. And they were like, why don't you come back after a few years? Why don't you, you're too young. And my argument was, when you say, when a woman says, if she's 35 and she says, I'm only 30 years old, do you question her? So I'm only 19, but I tell you I'm 25. So please take me for what I say. And I somehow managed to get the job, and I trained myself, and I started off my career in retail in those days when there weren't any women in retail. And I stayed there for a long time, and I kept growing from there. And what I did in my progression of my career, I grew from the scratch. I always learned from my team below. We do learn from our superiors. We do learn from our peer groups. But what is most important in my journey, I found that you learn a lot from people who are below you, who work under you, different people. So I grew, and my final assignment in the corporate world, I have had a 20-year journey in the corporate, was as head of operations. I was heading the complete India operations for a French conglomerate called Accor. I was heading a lot of functions. Data mining, data processing, warehousing, reverse logistics. I was handling customer care, call center operations. It was very huge operations. I was handling it for the complete country. And I found that every person who worked under me was a specialist. And that's when I mean, the reverse mentoring, when you talk about and, learning from our young leaders, I found that every little unit which was under me was doing some specialized work. And I was not that specialized to understand what they were doing. So I took it upon me to sit with everybody to understand what they were doing. In fact, they were teaching me. I was heading the operations, but I said, I need to know. I used to go and sit in my warehouse with the warehouse boys to understand how they pack. How we had a customer error of, say, 0.000008. It was very minimal for the kind of consignments we used to do. We used to ship about 20,000 shipments every day and get an equal amount of shipments. So what I want to tell you and share with you is, from that time onwards, I felt that I would be more in command. A leader or a manager or a person you're in a senior position is very much in command. You know all the screws, nuts and bolts if you are always in sync with your people. And please believe that each person you nurture, you hear out, you listen to, you encourage, you bring out, you're bringing a new leader into the force. They are not simply just people who are working under you. So when you give a hearing to the lowest fellow, you realize the company saves a lot of money. You can hear about a wastage that is happening somewhere where your immediate manager, who is a white-collared worker, will not be able to tell you. You listen to people, you get suggestions, you get improvisations, you get new ideas. And believe me, I have grown to a huge position. I came to the position of a vice president almost. I was heading in India actually. And I owe it all to my team. And the team that I'm talking about was not somebody whom I could tell things to. There was a point when things were running on their own. So I remember when my boss's boss came from France, he asked me, the whole day I spent with him, and he says, Nilofer, how is the work getting done? It was like a well-oiled machine because everybody in the organization was assuming a position of leadership. Now, I just did a little bit of research. I mean, it's long since now. It's almost 10 years since I left my position because I had a family commitment. So I moved out. I decided that I was, sorry.
Fine, finish it.
Yeah. I decided I wanted to, reach out to more people and help them, grow. So I resigned my position and went on to become a trainer, a motivational speaker. I do a lot of training for police. I do international training. I do training for corporates. And everywhere, I find that today, the new age generation, you have someone called the agile leaders. The agile leaders are the leaders who work in a disruptive environment where you have a digital disruption generally. And they go by the acronym. They have some characteristics which makes them different from the previous generation, like of leaders, which is, one is they're very humble. It's HAVE. They are very humble. They are adaptable. They have a vision, a long distance vision. And they have a lot of empathy, meaning which they are willing to listen to people, to take them across. So today, as somebody said, we're not very hierarchical. The organizations are getting flatter. That's because each person is emerging as a leader, and the new age generation is an agile. They are basically, the whole idea of reverse mentoring, understanding from them is to ensure that we retain millennials, we motivate them, and we are also, there's a lot of knowledge transfer and understanding between the seniors and the juniors. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, now moving to Varsha. She's the youngest of the lot, and we are learning a lot from her because she's a social media queen, and we tell her take pictures, whatever. She does everything for us. And it's her birthday today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She is actually Chennai chapter's selfie queen.
Selfie queen. And she's social media chapter.
Thank
chair.
you. This really means a lot, Harbin, and especially thank you, Sakina.
So, okay, now, Varsha, as a force behind a brand Born to Win and an ambassador of so many causes and initiatives, you are a ticking energy bomb, I must tell you that. And what is the impact of reverse mentoring, and how did it help you grow? Because you have two boys who have their t-shirts which say Varsha's Sons of Varsha. That's the brand. Born to Win and Sons of Varsha. She's done that. Yeah. So please, Varsha, tell us how this helped you.
It's definitely a moment of pride, me standing here and talking about Born to Win. And Born to Win is an organization, 7 years old organization founded by my teens. Now they are 17 and 13. They started 7 years back with an initiative, supporting various social initiatives. And I would like to share one of the initiatives where they bashed a world record. There are a lot of social initiatives, and with the environment thing, it came up. They announced to distribute 1 lakh cloth bag for free to local vendors in 1 month. I stopped breathing for a few seconds, trust me. He did that last year on the web forum in Chennai. I stopped breathing for a few seconds and he's like, you chill. And what I learned from them is like, I just went up, I said like, how are you going to do it? He said, relax. We have set a target, 1 lakh, 1 month. Now, how do we reach there? They reached out to hotels where they collected discarded bedsheets. Why hotels? Because they give you dry clean bedsheets. Why bedsheets? Because it's very easy to convert a bedsheet into a cloth bag. First step. Second, now who's going to make a cloth bag? They got in because as they are into so many social initiatives, they're very well connected with NGOs. They gave these bedsheets, and trust me, all the hotels supported because they made a short presentation. They went to the hotels, they gave the presentation, and hotels started pouring bedsheets. It was raining bedsheets, white bedsheets. They gave it to the NGOs. They paid rupees 5 each per bag. They paid rupees 5 rupees per bag, and they started. The bags were like all getting it. Now, who pays this 5 rupees? Source. They got in touch. They went to the Hindu. They gave a presentation there, and Hindu was very impressed, and they are the youngest to be covered 7 times in Hindu in 1 month. All the social media, and they made the best use, the maximized use of the technology and social media. And everybody were directly contributing it to the NGOs. Because Born to Win is an organization that doesn't collect any money. There is no money, there is no commercial thing. So everybody were giving it to the NGOs. And if you can open this, these were the bags. And in 1 month, they distributed 1 lakh cloth bag, white cloth bag. This is the bag made by NGOs. They gave rupees 5 lakhs employment, women. You won't believe, acid survivors, rape victims, mentally challenged ladies, all of them got they gave an employment of 5 lakh rupees in 1 month. When 2 boys can do it, anyone can do it. It is just an idea, and believe me, it gave me an opportunity, to learn from them. If they can do it, anyone can do it. And thanks to Harbin, I met you last year. And I've been the driving force behind them, but of course, every time they amaze me with their ideas. And I told her I want to get into social initiative, and she was like, just start. Today, I'm the chairperson of social initiatives, Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. Thank you, Harbin, means a lot. We are doing lot of things, lot of social initiatives under that. Apart from that, today, I'm the founder of Genetics Global Private Limited. And we come up as a solution provider for environment and excelling in waste management. We do ocean cleaning, there is a beach cleanup, and at the end of the day, everybody, it just ends up in a landfill. This is a need of an hour. And today I'm very proud, I'm a founder of Genetics Global Private Limited, that we are coming up with a sustainable waste management solution. And all thanks to all of you here. Thanks.
We cannot end up the section without Sakina's input. She was busy asking questions, even though I know its lack of time is there.
Only one thing my request would be, Sakina, just hold on for a few seconds. Shivanand and Prashasti, are you there? Yeah, I'm really sorry because you have a class ahead, and I think if you would permit, can we hear them first and then yeah, you're done. Okay, so please come forward. These are the kids from, I won't say kids, they may not like it. So Shivanand and Prashasti are IIM Kozhikode students. And no, I think because they have to go, that's why. Yeah. Are you okay to stand here or shall we finish? Yeah. Please come forward. Aye.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and our esteemed guests who have gathered here today, a very good morning to all of you. Today I'd like to talk a little bit on the power of authenticity, a topic that is being covered in the second day of this economic forum. So we live in a world today that has increasingly moved its presence to various online platforms. Our lives were a thing of privacy just a few years ago, but it is now laid bare for everyone to witness. While this does provide opportunities to socialize and learn so much from a huge group of people, this sometimes comes at a cost of being real or being authentic. The true power of authenticity is understood when we notice how much the world is worse off in the absence of it. This is apparent when we see people having fake personas online, when we argue over petty things that don't matter at all, and when we say white lies just to get the job done. Things might seem pretty dreary when I lay it out in this way, but luckily for us, it is something that we can fix by being authentic. Authenticity is not a license for us to be opinionated about everything. It is also not to be mistaken with being honest about everything that we see around us. No. People become authentic when they go beyond these levels, when they go one step further. It is not something that you practice or something that you can get out of a book. It is something that you actually are on the inside. It is this moment of vulnerability and fear when you are sharing something truly from deeply within yourself. And the power that results out of it is tremendous. For us, it gives us the confidence to be our true selves in society. And for the people who we are authentic to, it gives them the message that we place our trust in them by sharing something that is truly personal to us. Practicing authenticity has so much potential to fix many of the problems that we face in society. It can break so many molds that are prevalent and bring down many barriers that are absolutely restrictive. Most importantly, it gives us a chance to see through the fog that has separated various groups and build a better world together for us and for the generations that succeed us. I close by quoting Oscar Wilde, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." Thank you.
So a very good morning to each one of you present here. So early this month, social media was abuzz with the words of the late Toni Morrison. She said that these jobs, when you get these jobs that you've been brilliantly trained for, remember that your real job is that if you are free, you have the power to free somebody else. If you have power, then it is your job to empower somebody else. This is not a grab bag candy game. This is the time where every artist of every genre does what he or she has been doing consistently and loudly. And I think nothing else can explain this in a better way, what it truly means to create a world where everybody is thriving. I feel, as the last line says, that this is the time that we have to do our job to the best of our abilities, and that time has arrived. And the best way to go about it is to create a strong personal brand and to completely own it. For that to happen, I feel it's truly important to be true to who we are, because it gives us a sense of responsibility for exhibiting who we are to the world. It happens quite often that we change ourselves so often just to fit in. We say things that we don't really believe in. And these small everyday lies that we tell to ourselves, they just not make it difficult for us to accept ourselves, but also for us to accept the others. So the first step in bridging any sort of gap is to first bridge those gaps which don't allow you to accept yourself. So communicate, let us share our experiences, our stories which belong only to us, and let us try to learn from each other as much as we try to teach each other. So with this, I would like to conclude that the only way to growth is benefiting from each other in the best possible way. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivanand and Prashasti, for this wonderful connect with all of us here. Yeah, please come forward. Yeah.
Reverse mentoring, it's great that we have.
Yeah, you are there, so we are learning from you as well. Come forward. Let the boy stand in the middle. In the middle, yeah.
Can we do a group picture here, please?
Yeah.
Applause.
Yes. Good one. I request all of you to just stay back.
She has work to do.
Yeah. So I congratulate Nilofa for getting this accolade here as Exceptional Woman of Excellence Award. And may all of us give a round of applause, please. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all, please. Yeah, Sakina, you want to speak about yourself? We would love to hear from you. Come on, please. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yeah. No, stay. Stay. Yeah. When I talk about reverse mentoring, I've been learning a lot from the time my children have been born. When my first child was born, I was born too as a mother. The first thing I had to learn was the first child is for me to be confident, because I was 19 and I didn't know how to bring up a child. But I love children. I'm very good with children, so that really helped me. And with a lot of confidence, I did the first one, done. The second one, I needed extra energy because he was so naughty. So I needed to be more patient and open up my third eye, because I needed some special extra powers to deal with him. And today, he's doing extremely well. And the third was my daughter, and she is a very well-balanced kid. And from the time she was born, she's been an angel, and I have gratitude for that. So all my three kids have taught me confidence, patience, gratitude, and they are all grown up. And they are the backbone behind my growth. From a agricultural background, my grandparents were all agriculturists. My dad was the only one who moved away, and he was an engineer, and he was with central government, with All India Radio. So I got to travel, meet people, studied in Bangalore, learnt a lot of art and dance, Bharatanatyam, sports, name it. I was there, theatre, all that was growing up and learning. But when I broke barriers, coming from a Telugu Reddy community, I married into a Muslim community. I broke barriers and I created history. And people were like, oh my God, this girl has run away with a Muslim guy. It's not going to last. And all that, those days. I'm talking about 36, 38 years ago. But we made a success of our lives, and 3 beautiful children, no regrets, blissfully happy, and I have learned to be very positive, filled with gratitude and acceptance. That has been my mantra of life. Gratitude, acceptance, and positivity. And all my friends keep saying,